I think he's on the wrong side of 31. He's had a couple injuries. He's getting a little slower. Um, so I think he's taking his time to determine what's his next plan is going to be. And
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, back at my home studio and off the road just for a little bit. And guest hosting with me today is Captain for Life, sitting in for my tag team partner, Will Cotton. Will, how you doing this morning, sir?
doing great. Happy Father's Day.
Yes, it is Father's Day. We are taping on Father's Day. And happy Father's Day to all. I am sure there will be no rush at the restaurants. I'm sure you'll be able to get a table, sit
Not a
down
tea
and
time.
enjoy, but not a tea time. Yes.
I don't know about
All
tea
right.
time, but the restaurant will be open.
All right. So for today, we're going to talk D-Hop still shopping. We're going to talk about the Bucks keeping some talent. In segment two, we're going to talk about preparing for the season. So in segment 2 and 3, I'm taking a deep dive as I'm a fan. As the late, great John Thompson said, I'm a Joe the fan guy. So we're going to take a deep dive into Bryce Young, and we're going to take a deep dive into Sam Howell in segment 3, because I got my gambling partner here. I want to know if I should take the over-under on their team season totals. But Will, D-Hop is still shopping. So free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins visited New England last week, and barring anything crazy, both sides are now expected to kind of talk a little more deep. Hopkins is 31, and he seems not to be in a rush to sign. Likewise, the Patriots are kind of slow rolling this. I know Fowler and talked a little bit about Tennessee last week, but Will, what are you thinking about D-Hop, his approach to his new position?
I think he's in a sweet spot. I think he's on the wrong side of 31. He's had a couple injuries. He's getting a little slower. Um, so I think he's taking his time to determine what's his next plan is going to be, and not jump into just the money or jump into the culture. I think he's doing this smart. I think he's doing this smart way. I think he has a lot of value. I think a lot of teams want him. I think a lot of teams could need him. But we'll see. We'll see. He's not in a rush. He's not in a rush, and he is not worried about where he's going to play, and he's going to get paid. So that's all good.
All right, and most teams, if not all of them, have concluded their off-season programs. So this is when a coach gets nervous, and you'll hear about that throughout the entire week, because there's about a month before we can officially get you. And I am scared every day that I'm going to hear and see something that I have no interest in. All right, so the Bucks are finally keeping some talent. Rent don't own. Mike Evans has been one of the most consistent wide receivers in the league. He's gone over 1,000 yards in each of his 9 seasons. That's actually very impressive. And he's averaged 9 touchdowns per year on top of that. And he's got a little change in the pocket going jing-a-lang-a-lang. So he's headed into his final year of his contract, a 5-year, $82.5 million extension that he signed back in 2018. He is set to count against Tampa Bay's books for $23.7 million for this upcoming season, with a base salary of $13 million. Seems like he wants to get a new contract done. Maybe he can do the hometown discount, and I know Todd Bowles needs some talent. So, Will, do you think Mike Evans is coming back with the discount, or do you think he'll try to fleece the Bucks for one more big deal?
No, he should get a big deal. Remember, he took less when they won the Super Bowl that year. I think they took less so they could sign AB, and that money ended going to the crap, because at the end of the day his contract got voided. So nobody got that money.
Okay.
So I think he's going to get paid. I think, unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. Is they're going to cash strap the team, because they're 1 foot out of the grave. They're ready to start rebuilding.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to do is start your rebuild with an overpriced, a little older than wide receiver, and he's a fan favorite. So it's not even like an easy business. It's not even like, okay, well, we're going to waive you or we're going to trade you. It's like, hey, man, that's our guy. That's been here all the time. He didn't leave when we were bad. And when we were like, that was our guy. So they're kind of in a stuck, but they're kind of in a, like a, kind of weird, like kind of thing where they're stuck. But I think, they'll eat it for like 2 years, go through it, pay them, do whatever happens, happens. I mean, they're just happy they got the Super Bowl. They'll get 2 years and then they'll move on. But I think it's great for all the team if they keep him, and great for Mike Evans actually getting paid and obviously making the money that he gave when he gave it up for another wide receiver or who else they were signing for. So it's a good business. Good business. Got to eat it for a couple of years. They'll come back better. They'll bring him back as like a coach or something. And then it'll be a good relationship. They're a good franchise. So they're pretty well with that.
All right. Running back still get disrespected. After sitting out Baltimore Ravens mandatory minicamp this week, running back J.K. Dobbins expressed his frustration over his contract situation. Dobbins is in the final year of the dreaded rookie deal, and he is scheduled to make $1.39 million a season, which is, wait for it, 24th among all running backs. He is known for his explosiveness. He is second among all running backs with a 5.9 rushing average since 2020. But Dobbins was a second round pick in 2020. He has missed more games, 27, than he's played, 23 in his career. He was sidelined for all of 2021 after suffering a significant left knee injury in the preseason. Then he missed 6 straight games last season after going arthroscopic surgery on that same knee. Will, running backs, just not having a good off season. What are you thinking about J.K. Dobbins and the rest of the running backs?
It's a tough off season for him to not be there. There are a lot of guys who are comparable in the free agent market who they could easily pick up. And if they're going to give some money, it might be like, hey, I'd rather give Zeke for $8 million for 2 years rather than you for 3 years, $8 million. So it's just, and again, the first thing you have to do is the best ability coach.
His availability.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta be there. And it's kind of ironic, you miss a lot of time, but now you decide to miss more time to prove a point. So I think he has bad people who are giving his ear. I think they're not good, because if it was me, I mean, shoot, I'd be like, hey, look, you want to pay me? Look, I'm OTAs, I'm working out, I'm in shape, I'm looking good, I'm feeling good, and I'm showing to be that I'm also a leader on the locker room. That would be more inclined me as a team to pay him more than just like not being there. So I mean, I guess he's getting bad, bad advice.
Not a good time to be a running back. Not a good time to be a running back. And finally, in segment 1, fans, as I mentioned in our first story, I hate the offseason. Will is my captain. He knows I hate it. New England Patriots second-year cornerback, young people, Jack Jones, was arrested last week after 2 firearms were found in his travel luggage at Boston's Logan Airport, according to Massachusetts State Police. Why are we traveling with firearms? Okay. Jones will be arraigned in East Boston District Court. His bail was set at $50,000. The team said, we've been notified that Jack Jones was arrested earlier. We are in the process of gathering more information. Jones is 25 and he was charged with 2 counts of the following offenses, according to state police: possession of a concealed weapon in a secure area of the airport, possession of ammunition without a firearms identification card, unlawful possession of a firearm, carrying a loaded firearm, and possession of a large capacity feeding device. Jones was a 2022 4th round draft pick, Will, out of Arizona State. Had his rookie season in late in December because of a team suspension for unspecified club rules. In all, he's played 13 games with 2 starts, total of 30 tackles. Do you think he's going to be on the Patriots in the fall?
I don't know if you're going to be there by July.
Okay.
I don't think it's too much of a headache. Not good enough. Not a real contract, no money. Yeah, what is wrong with these kids? And what are people traveling with guns? Is that a like what happened? Like, I'm worried about if I got
Too
water
much
bottles.
lotion or the
Yeah,
3
I'd be like,
ounces of,
yeah, I'm not
man,
bringing
I
my
gotta get
cologne.
my shaving cream in here. I got
Or I gotta pack my cologne. Which one I'm gonna bring? Because I don't want them to take it. These dudes bringing guns and loaded guns, and I just can't understand. I just can't understand. I don't.
Okay. Well, fans, in segment 2, as we prepare for the season, we're going to take a deep dive into Bryce Young and talk about his development. And we're doing it with the purpose, strictly for entertainment purposes only, of course. Should we take the over under on the Carolina Panthers season win total? We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fowler Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Yacht Coaches podcast. And in segment 2, we are trying to get you prepared for the season. So in late July, early August, we're going to do our full team correspondent. Let's get everybody together. So fans, the OCP is getting you ready for the season. If you watched football for strictly entertainment purposes only, these are the types of segments for you. In clear plain sight, I'm getting ready for the season, and I am expected to have a better season this year than I did last year, and I really didn't do too bad. So today we're going to do a breakdown of Bryce Young, and we're going to do a breakdown of Sam Howell in segment 3. So, Will, the Carolina Panthers over-under is 7.5 this year, and there's been a lot of talk about Bryce Young. So before the draft, the Carolina Panthers knew that management was going to take a quarterback. Bunch of group texts. You could see the players doing group texts. Then they got him. So OTA. Now Bryce Young is here. He's in front of everybody. And from a leadership to respect standpoint with his teammates, he took control and command of the offense early in OTA. Okay, he's already been elevated past Andy Dalton to first on the depth chart. Now we haven't hit anybody yet, but again, teams are very, the veterans are very excited about him. Here's what some of the guys had to say. Wide receiver DJ Clark said everybody is here for him. We believe he can take us to some really high places. Edge rusher Brian Burns said it's not hard not to like that kid. He's put quite a stamp on the locker room. So he's doing the work before the work. His command of the offense has been obvious. He's done everything right. But hey, Will, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. He's 5'10", 204 pounds.
Maybe.
And can he make the throws when they're running after him? Frank Wright said it's not a big deal. I actually thought we'd see more batted balls. But hey, I don't think too much about it. Will, Bryce Young, what do you think? And at the end of the day, are we taking the over or under on Carolina?
Man, the kid has always been just small. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, even in college, when he got that big hit against, I think it was Texas a couple years ago, I believe, he was out, and he's going to get hit a lot more. And it's not just actual straight up hits. He's going to get slaps. He's going to get bumps. He's going to get, stuff like that, where people are grabbing him and holding on to him, holding on to his leg and things like that. I mean, say what you got to say. He's your franchise quarterback. So, say what you got to say. People are hyping him up. Great things, great things in the locker room. People are praising to him. Oh, he's good. Oh, he's a leader. He's showing up. After you've been beaten up for a month, let's see if he's still showing up on October. Staying late, all that kind of stuff. We'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be a long year for Carolina. I think he'll have some flash points, and I think he'll have some down. You know what I'm saying? Some ups and downs. But I think I'm gonna take the under.
All right. So, fans, I'm looking at this. I've got the person that I talk to about gambling probably the most. I'm looking at it. And what do we have to get to? Well, we got to get to 8 wins. That's what we have to do with Carolina.
Yep.
So now, week 1, Atlanta. We got it?
Toss up.
We just looking at it. We're just looking for 8. New Orleans. We're just trying to count 8.
Nah.
Seattle. Minnesota.
No.
Detroit. Miami.
Nah.
Bye week in October.
Ooh,
the Houston Texans,
They'll
Indianapolis, Chicago, Dallas, Tennessee, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Atlanta, Green Bay, Jacksonville, and Tampa Bay. Can we count 8 wins for the Carolina Panthers? Do you want to change or keep it?
Nah, I'm gonna keep it. They're gonna get 7 wins. They playing a lot of poop. They're playing a lot.
I'm gonna go with it, man. I'm gonna take the over as of now before the preseason episode.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna say
I gotta
7
think they could get 8 wins. Okay.
No way.
So, fans, when we get back, we're going to do the same thing with the Washington Commanders and talking about Sam Howell, somebody who on the show I have said I like Sam Howell, and I think this kid's going to be pretty good. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast.
Why should student athletes use the CKA SAVE Project academic and athletic consulting services? Over the past 15 to 20 years, colleges, universities, professional sports teams, business organizations, and others have increased their use of consulting services to improve their decision-making processes and results. Over the same time, the athletic and academic landscape has changed for high school and college student athletes as the NCAA has raised initial academic eligibility requirements for student athletes while decreasing the number of transfer restrictions. Former college student athletes have noted that they were academic and athletically unprepared for the rigors of college. Let the CKA SAVE Project's close to 30 years of academic and athletic experience help guide student athletes to increase success as we work to help student athletes achieve the goal of obtaining a college degree. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast in segment 3. By the way, I really do think Carolina can get 8 wins. All right, in segment 3, we're going to talk about the Washington Commanders and, more importantly, Sam Howell. Sam Howell must still earn the position for the season, but he has taken the steps necessary in the offseason, the work before the work. And he only has 1 start to his resume. And he's got a new offense coordinator in Eric Bieniemy, who's getting fussed at by the local media because he's yelling at practice. Will, have you heard any of that foolishness, by the way, before we dive in?
Never heard it.
Yeah, I heard through our local media in the Washington area that some of the media said he's yelling at the players. And I said, good. Okay. All right. So Howell will undergo his natural transition. He was a 5th round draft pick, and that doesn't bother me because if he had a better line and better weapons, he would have been a higher round draft pick. But they're talking about his footwork. Ever since he arrived, the Washington coaches have focused on his footwork. They consider it a primary area to develop. And by the season end of last year, he improved in that area. And that's something that he's working on. So again, skill development. Okay. Leadership and communication. Ron Rivera said they're trying something new this offseason. They put a microphone on him to hear how he called plays and how he handled situations at the line of scrimmage. Hal was shocked the first time he did that, but he called it a good opportunity. He was curious how he sounded too, and it was helpful. Okay, so we were working on the leadership, working on the communication. So now the studying. You got the West Coast offense, and it could get kind of wordy. Washington used a numbers-based system last season. Now they're using a word-based system. And this word-based system allows the quarterback to visualize the play when he speaks it. And to speed up his process, Howell says he is using voice memo app on his phone every day and recording himself saying plays. So he's studying his playbook and then becoming a leader. Leadership is a process. Teammates consider Howell a quiet person, but now he's starting to come out of his shell a little bit. And he said during spring workouts, he's focusing on talking to players, whether in the huddle or after breaking the huddle, and he's trying to increase communication. So, Will, the Washington Commanders, their over-under is 6.5. I've given you some information about Sam Howell. Hey, did I make you think to take the over, the under? What do you think, sir?
I'm gonna take the under, but I will say that they're very excited about him. I mean, the biggest thing is why they have a new owner. So what does that mean? Everybody's playing for a job. So everybody's going to be going there, and they're gonna be doing all, showing up early, staying late, being in the workout room. Everybody's going to be doing that stuff. So they'll benefit. So Sam Howell will benefit of everybody just doing their job better because they're all playing for that job. So, I mean, they're doing it. I mean, I've never even heard that stuff before where they're checking his cadence. I've never heard of that. I mean, maybe I'm not in tune to others, but I'm just like, man, they're really making sure this kid has all the support. And it's really because a lot of y'all ain't going to be here in the next 2-3 years, and you showing people your value. But they're getting this. So I'll give them, but I'm still going to give them the under. At the end of the day, they haven't changed too much. Rivera is still the coach. I think yep. I think him and Bienne are gonna clash. And I just think it's not gonna get it's not gonna get together this year. But we'll see what happens.
All right. So Will, again, the over under is 6.5. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona, Denver, Buffalo, Philadelphia, Chicago, Atlanta, the New York Giants, Philadelphia, New England, Seattle, New York Giants, Dallas, and they always split with Dallas historically, Miami, a bye in December. December bye.
Very nice.
The Rams, the Jets, San Francisco, and ending with Dallas. You can't count 7 wins off that.
Nope, I don't see it. That's the 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll shock the world, a couple of them, but they're gonna drop a couple of good ones that they should. But
well, as of this late June taping, I'm leaning towards taking the over. I'm leaning to it. But let me give you some takeaways about both players. So one, it's important to invest in people and processes. And I think Carolina and Washington are doing that. I think they're doing that. Will, you know how much I'm a big fan of knowing your personnel. You got to take the time to know your personnel. And I'm seeing that both teams are taking the time to get to know what's best for the individual so they can better help the team. Both teams are putting their quarterbacks in positions to be successful. Carolina has Andy Dalton on the sidelines happily taking backup salary money to just help this kid so he can prolong his career. And watch in 10 years, you're going to hear Andy Dalton's name coaching or something, I'm sure. Both teams are embracing mistakes that they're making because they're going to make mistakes. And they're emphasizing being better, not perfect. So um, I, I'm hoping this kind of works because there's a process to it, and they're taking their time with it. Um, Will, you've worked with me. The off season's a big deal. Any final thoughts before we close out on Bryce Young and Sam Howell?
Good luck, fellas. Good luck. I mean, I'm rooting for you guys, especially Sam. But we'll see. So just keep that same energy. It sounds good in June, but I want to see it next year, June. I want to see in December. Shoot, that he still, can't leave the facility because he's always working hard.
So like week 5, you're gonna look at me on the show and say, "Coach, I told you them bums."
We're gonna know soon enough. If you can't beat those teams, if you can't beat any of those teams, I don't know if you belong in the NFL.
All right, fans. It's Father's Day, and I'm feeling a little melancholy today. We're taping this show on Father's Day, and my tag team partner is not here with love because it's Father's Day, and his son AJ's in town, and they're doing a lot, and that's great. It's wonderful. 2 years ago, we taped a show with AJ and KJ, Point Five, and it was one of my favorite shows. But I heard about the news about Ray Lewis III, the son of two-time Super Bowl champion Ray Lewis, who died of a suspected overdose. Um, Officers were called and found him unresponsive, and witness accounts, pretty much believe this is a tragic incident. And Will's a father, I'm a father, and our relationships as we are older are different. Most of our conversations now are about our kids. And I am actually someone who stepped away from coaching in part so I can spend more time with my son as he grows up. You're only, as much as I say I hate 14, he's only 14 once. So on behalf of the OCP and my tag team partner and our colleagues, we wish you a happy Father's Day. We wish you all of the time you can spend with your children. We hope people respect what fathers do. And please don't go on social media and say mothers is fathers too. Please, can we just get one day to just pause and reflect? And I'm a daddy's boy. I'm gonna have dinner with my pops. So, Will, I'd like to give you an opportunity because you are pops too. Twice over, baby.
Oh, yeah,
Anything you like to say before we close out?
It was amazing. It was a great time. I spent time with my father yesterday. It was a great time just hanging out. And obviously being in my 30s now, mid 30s, our relationship is a lot different now. It's a lot more conversational. It's a lot more casual in terms of, it's more like my friend, but still have that fatherly guidance. So it was a great time. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine and his father too. So it was just a lot of young Black men hanging out, chilling, talking to older Black men who were just kind of kicking us and letting us know what it is. And they said they're going to whoop us in golf today. So it may happen, but I'm just happy that I'm still able to do stuff like that with my father. So I'm just never going to take it for granted. And happy Father's Day to you, Coach, because you were a father to me as well. We spent as much time together growing up then, in school. We're spending together 10, 12 hours a day, things like that. So it was really good. And I appreciate all the guidance. Oh, and I got a Father's Day card. Thank you, Malcolm. Appreciate it. But yeah, it's good. It's great. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
Well, Malcolm giving a card is the best way to end this episode. So on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, Will Cotton, Captain for Life, and all of the crew, thank you for listening and for watching the Eye Coaches podcast. And we'll see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
The Eye Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.